DreamHack Winter, Luminosity, the latest victim of the 16-0 curses, the new look Fnatic show. This is why you do not change your roster 2 days before a tournament. We're here on the analysis desk again, not doing much analysis if the games keep going this way. It is, of course, Doran, Janko, and Vendetta. So, another 16-0, but just absolutely...
You know what, Rich? You know they have in certain cultures, they have what you call initiation phases, where to become a part of the culture, you have to go through a certain act that everyone goes through.
Gangs, I believe.
So, yeah, in certain Mexican street gangs in LA, interesting, getting something pushed in like they did here.
Yeah.
So what actually happened was, people always used to try and push this lame narrative. Luminosity's an NA team, they live in NA now. And I was like, no, they're from South America, they play totally different to NA teams, they're very sound tactically, they always give a good accounting of themselves on their good maps. But you know what? Luminosity 16-0'd Renegades. They're in the NA region now. They're playing very much like an NA team themselves. Then, obviously, we had Team Liquid, 16-0'd today. We can finally say now that Luminosity has become an NA team.
Yep, this is what happened. NA, not even once.
And, Thanksgiving was actually about Europeans stuffing a bunch of American turkeys.
Which is what's happened. So, guys, I mean, I knew, Fnatic, surely you got to give them the edge, and it's always tough changing a roster for a tournament. But guys, come on, what happened there?
I don't know. What do you think is worse, 7-1 at the World Cup or this?
It's a low point, surely, and especially they're a team that sort of took this great. Merriment almost in doing it to Renegades. Now they're on the receiving end. Far be it from me to imply karma is a real thing. But honestly, I've never seen a Luminosity, even taking the roster changes into account, be this bad, especially on Dust 2.
I can see you struggling for words here, Rich. So my analysis of this game is that Luminosity got the body slapped. See, that's why I get paid the big bucks, and I have an expert under my title. I don't have to analyze the game, I just get to be an expert. So there you go, over to you, Janko. What do you think of the game?
I have to do it to get paid at least, It depends on my
Better than
performance.
He just stands there. I was on Nip. Is that anything else you'd like to add?
I also work for Twitch.
No, I'd like to claim the fifth.
And just streaming this on Twitch.
I'd like to take the fifth, please, Your Honour.
Yeah.
I can't say anything more. That might incriminate me.
But come on, Janko. Obviously, I know you were observing the game quite closely.
Not literally,
the horror on your face.
Not literally observing.
Thank God. So,
from that place.
It's nothing else than just a sheer demonstration of force from Fnatic, where whatever Luminosity tried to do, they got shut down. I think at the end of the whole map, they had 28 kills, Luminosity, which is less than 2 kills per round, basically, which means they got destroyed wherever. And the thing is, they actually tried different stuff. They tried a fast A split, a slow A split, a B split, an A fake. Split. They tried basically everything you can try. They just couldn't get the entry frags, and they got really just shut down.
Yeah, I think they got a total of 4 entry frags that game. Yeah. And I guess, Team Liquid, when they played TSM, had 10.
And you can't even say, when you say the stat entry frag, it's not there's no, it doesn't differentiate if it's a pick that you got, and then you have a 5v4, or is it just you are going into an execute, and you get the entry frag, but then the second guy mows you down, kills 3 people. So it can be kind of
deceptive that,
yeah.
Well, you also picked out a clip for us as well. I mean, again, real hard to go through the game and sort of find something that...
but this shows exactly the way Fnatic played, the no-respect Counter-Strike, the aggressive Counter-Strike. You see all of throwing a Molotov along, then running through the Molotov, because why not? We're up 6-0, who cares? Running through T-spawn, giving so much info to his team. He spots the bomb here as well. The guy actually turns for some reason, just quickly, but Olfmeister takes the kill. I mean,
the dark presence.
Yeah, they could basically do whatever they wanted here. In the round before this one, they boosted up Cat with 2 guys, went aggressive, got the early kill there as well, fell back. I mean, everything just went their way. It was a real impressive performance, and really looking forward to next game.
Is it not a little bit abnormal there of Luminosity to not leave someone sort of hanging around in that mid area, try and shut out rotates maybe?
Yeah, well, you would expect that, but I think at that point, Luminosity were already grasping for things to somewhat succeed for them, because throughout the entire game, pretty much, Olofmeister had more frags than the entirety of Luminosity.
Yeah.
I guess that's the biggest positive you can bring out of it. Like, eventually, Luminosity as a team got more frags than Olaf Meister.
See, I imagine
That's a plus.
I imagine halfway into that game, Fallen, whoever made the decision to make the roster move, just was going, "I've made a terrible mistake. Hello, Kaki,
I regret
smile,
everything."
friend." Like, just looking up and he's like, "Fallen, the game's already started. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't even matter."
I mean, yeah, it is weird, you know, seeing him without Steels and Bolts. I mean, I was surprised that Bolts went, actually. I thought he was doing enough to stay in the team. I thought Steel was obviously one of the, you know, was the weakest link. But, I mean, again, you can see on this evidence, it would have been far better probably he's coming to this tournament. Just give him one more event. Even if you say before going in, look, we're probably going to make a roster change after this. But that was, they just didn't look like a team at all.
I mean, well, they really aren't.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose
that's pretty much it, and that's been their strength all along. So I guess you kind of have to give them that excuse, the fact that they will probably or hopefully get better over time.
Yeah.
I mean,
They must do, surely.
Yeah,
They're at the
well,
bottom
they
right
can't
now.
go worse, right?
Yeah.
What if every game was a 16-0? I mean, Sponge should have a lot of rings to make. He was on Twitter saying he's going to get rings made up for everyone that's got beat by 16-0.
I mean, Fallen said in an interview that they realized that, you know, they come without any preparation, anything, but they believe that for FNX and Taco that this is going to be an amazing experience. And I don't know, like, what
Right.
kind of,
That'll be very memorable.
yeah, it's gonna be like, I don't know how this benefits the two new players, other than like losing all desire to play CS ever again.
Well, I mean, obviously, in a 16-0, one team is having a very, very bad time. Another is having a very, very good time. And Fnatic, if that's the evidence of things to come, I mean, that's it could be worrying for all these other teams. We've already seen Envious falter a little bit. Virtus Pro haven't looked convincing. You know, it could be worrying, and maybe Fnatic are going to bounce right back and get era number 2 underway.
When Fnatic started to fall off, which obviously also coincided with all the teams we're talking about who replaced them becoming incredibly good, like TSM getting super consistent, VP better than ever, and then Envious rising up. It wasn't just that those teams rose up, it's that Fnatic's fragging level clearly went down.
Yeah.
And they couldn't actually match up just man for man with some of these teams. These are brutal teams. Well, you add in Dennis now, obviously they're not going to play like this every game and against every opponent, but this is maybe what I was saying, like they can't go the old approach, they can't be the old Fnatic. But the new Fnatic, with more skill, man for man spread out, maybe they can play that game against the Envious or TSMs of the world. So that's what I'm going to be looking at as the tournament goes on for Fnatic.
Yeah. And you also mentioned in the previous segment how Envious, their honeymoon phase ended. Now they need to, you know, look a bit deeper into their own game. But when Envious made the initial roster change, they won IEM. They were second at the major, losing to Fnatic, you know, mostly because of that Dust 2 for the big lead they had, you know. Then coming into other events, they were also really dominant. So there's no reason why Fnatic maybe couldn't do the same thing, even though there's only a week or two.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
they made their roster.
honeymoon periods are very real.
I want to hold out though and wait until they play a CSGO team.
Yeah.
Not this like mixed team from Brazil.
Or whatever got sent over. Anyway, we'll take a look at the brackets.
Brazil nuts there. I should have gone with that joke. I did.
Yeah, you didn't want to do it. I don't blame you actually. Well, although Luminosity got their nuts crushed there. So you saw earlier Envious losing to NIP 68.
It's cold.
It's a thing.
It's cold.
You put them on ice cream sundaes. Luminosity confirmation there for Fnatic 16-0ing them. So that means Envious and Luminosity will go at it in a series in that losers match. Bad news for Luminosity. And of course, we're going to close out today with El Clasico. NIP versus Fnatic from nowhere, gentlemen. So a fortuitous...
No, Fnatic are from Sweden.
Okay. But it's going to be a local derby.
Okay.
And
no, derby's in England.
Jesus.
Keep it going.
This
keep it rolling.
banter's hanging.
Okay, I know.
If,
Like
anyway.
that monkey in Hartlepool. Reference game incredibly on point. No one even knows what we're talking
We're already
about.
going to get that one.
It.
Yeah. Google it. Monkey hangers in Hartlepool. Anyway, so let's just talk a little bit about what that means. I mean, it looks like Fnatic could conceivably have a very easy walkthrough here, but NIP looked so good earlier, you definitely can't write them off going into this final game.
No, but here's what's interesting. This time when NIP play against Fnatic are the ones who have like an uncertainty to them and who, because it's their first event, they're playing quite free and kind of figuring it out as they go. So it feels like the shoe's on the other foot in that particular sense, because in the past, NIP could be the ones where it's like, you know, they're just going to play the YOLO style and everyone knows what to expect from Fnatic. You don't really know what to expect from it. And if I was NIP watching that game, I'd be like, what am I supposed to take from that game?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to take.
Yeah, wasted your time sitting down. And of course, we did say earlier, Fnatic was sat backstage watching the NIP game going, NIP are going to wreck Envious. Like,
yeah.
They obviously have a lot of respect for them, conversely.
Yeah, Crims, that's really surprised me because he sat down and just asked him, so yeah, who's going to win? And he was like, oh, easy, NIP. I was like, oh, are you sure? Like, I was,
want to change?
Yeah, I was taken aback by it, but they were really confident. They were saying like, oh yeah, NIP are playing super well as of late. So clearly, they obviously know something that, you know, they have the opportunity to practice versus them any given day. So they know something's going on, and NIP do have that tendency to play really well when they actually don't give a damn. And then they get to the stages further into the tournament where they start thinking, you know, start believing themselves, and that's when everything falters. So still early on, I think we could see a really, really good match with a careless NIP, pretty much.
I mean,
Well,
When they don't give a damn. So it's like, Freiburg's like, what are you doing for us? He's like, frankly, Freiburg, I don't give a damn. Reference game incredibly on point. 1940s movies.
We keep rolling the decades back. It's unreal. Anyway, look, gentlemen, thanks a lot for your thoughts. Hopefully, we're not going to get a 16-0 to close out the day, but when we get back, we are going to have El Clasico. It's NIP versus Fnatic, the last game of the day. Please do join.